What if I said to you, prove it? Prove it to me you love your daughter. How do you know what it is, and what is love? I mean, we all feel it, right? But how do you know you really love your daughter? Well, you can't prove it because it's something that we all recognize as being real, as part of us and our existence and our experience, but it's really hard to define, and you just know it. But prove it. Well, dying for my daughter isn't proving I love her; it's just proving that I'm dying. So how do you do that? How do you define something that is inherently so hard to define? Now, take that conversation and apply it to all of human consciousness. What is consciousness? What is it even, right? And is it possible that human beings have something indelible beyond the body and the mind, something that lives beyond, something that is greater than the physical sense and the intellectual sense? Look, you and I are if you compare us to a banana, I think we share like 75% of our DNA with a banana and like 99% of it with a chimpanzee. But if you were to compare our DNA, yeah, there's some differences, but for the most part, we both have two arms, two legs, and fingers, and two eyes, and bilateral symmetry. So we're not really physically that different. And then if I asked you about your brain, well, maybe it's a brain that makes Sean Ryan who Sean Ryan is. Well, okay, but if you look at the neural pathways and you go to a neurosurgeon, they're kind of the same as mine, and medulla oblongata and the frontal cortex, and the parts of the brain are pretty consistent throughout other humans. That's why we can do brain surgery. How things are wired for the most part. So that's not what separates us. What makes Sean Ryan Sean Ryan? What makes Sean Ryan willing to go to battle and go to war and potentially die for his country? Or Luis Elizondo to do what he does? Well, that's the question. Is that where human consciousness lies? Is that where human sentience is? And is that something that is shared with other higher life forms, or is it specifically humans?